Welcome to Key Conversations, a Making It in the Music Business podcast. In this season, I'm changing it up. Not only do I interview music business experts, I also speak with past MX4 participants. MX4 is my marketing and branding, money-making motivation masterclass for career musicians. You can find out more at inthekey.co/MX4. My goal for this podcast is to help you learn from these conversations with both experts and working musicians and serve as a guide to assist your career in the process. I'm your host, Cheryl B. Engelhardt. Let's get going. We're going to kick off Season 3 with our very first musician edition, where we feature a hardworking musician who's creating their dream career, open to a little guidance, and who's brave enough to be here in my hot seat. So welcome Brian Peters of the band Deuce and a Quarter. He's a singer-songwriter who also plays a harmonica. And I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and you got a busy life. You have a job. Do you want to share what your job is, which I think is super cool?
Well, I've done many of things, but currently for the last several years, I'm a tractor trailer driver, got a Class A license, and driving truck is really, locally anyway, allows me to really be home for the weekends and every Friday, Saturday night, play some music. And actually almost every song that I've written, I've wrote in my truck. So
That is awesome. I just had another interview where I was talking with someone about how having a day job or a part-time job that is totally different from the music industry actually can serve the music really well. And it sounds like you found that.
Oh, absolutely.
That's super cool. So what do you guys, Deuce and a Quarter? That's such a cool band name. What are you guys doing right now? It sounds like you're playing out. You said already to Friday nights, Saturday nights. What do you got going on? Give me the snapshot of what you're up to.
Well, actually, we're just about to release a new CD, and I'm finishing up the artwork, so I don't want to get ahead of myself on the date, but my target date is May 13th for the release of the new CD. There's actually 10 original songs on there and one cover. But I, kind of hear country and blues music as the exact same. So the one cover song that I am doing on the CD is Garth Brooks's Thunder Rolls, redone as a slow minor blues.
Oh my God.
So
amazing.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
But that's the main thing that we've got going on. I try to play out about once a month with the band. That's really no more than what I like to do. Obviously, festival season, we get a little bit busier, but I try to play about once a month with the band. And the rest of the time, I kind of have an acoustic trio, stripped down version that we call Mill Street Blues. And I play every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night with that group.
Oh, wow.
So,
very cool. Cool. So this is great because having multiple projects is something that's really common for a lot of musicians, and it fulfills us. It keeps us busy. It diversifies our sources of income. It does a lot of things for us. So
sure.
How do you balance the two projects in terms of setting goals and moving forward? Is one sort of more for fun, or are you working at both equally? Tell me how you balance the two.
Well, honestly, so Deuce and a Quarter is my passion. That's my number one. That's the first thing that I started. And it's really where my heart is at. Mill Street Blues is just, it came together. A musician wanted a solo act. He's Will Freed. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted me to fill in for him one day. He was double booked and he calls me and I'm like, there's no way in the world I can do that, man. You're far better than what I can, no way in the world. He calls me back about 15 minutes later and he says, well, I don't have anybody to do the gig yet. I desperately need you to do this. And I was like, well, can I bring somebody with me? It's like, I don't care. You just need to do it. So I called a buddy and John Henry and asked him if he'd do it with me. And he was like, sure, why not? We went over and did it the first week. And a couple weeks later, same thing happened. So it was like, sure, we'll go back and do it. At the end of the night, I got the best compliment that I've ever received playing music. And the owner comes out at the end of the night and he says, I can't make this up. He said, I know Will is a better singer than you. I know he's a better guitar player, just overall a better musician than you. But for whatever reason, we got the most complaints or the most compliments from you guys than we ever have from anybody that we've ever had in here. Would you do this every Saturday night? And we were like, no, absolutely not. We tried so hard to talk him out of it. He just, insisted on it. And here we are going on 3 years later. And at all three of their locations now, it was for the first year just one, but now we do Thursday night at one location, Friday at another location, and our original Saturday night at the other location. We really become a big part of their brand. And what they do, it's called Barrel on Board. It's kind of a gourmet barbecue place, and we really became a part of their brand as well. So,
That's
and
cool.
the name, their location is on Mill Street, and that's the reason we started calling ourselves Mill Street Blues. It's like maybe a year in, and everybody's just kind of asking all the time, well, what's the name of your group? And well, we really don't have one. We're not really a group. So,
Yeah.
and we do a lot of originals, and it's kind of like passing a guitar around at the campfire. Both of us play bass, both of us play guitar, both of us sing. I play a little harmonica, and then we brought in my drummer, play cajon, and we just kind of do our thing.
Yeah. Cool. Hold on, pause, because the dog barking is not working, or you got to handle that. Just say the same thing with the dog and the water.
Yeah, number one thing is dad. That's my number one hat is dad. That's the job that I love the most. It's the thing that's kind of driven me for pretty much my whole life. When people see me, they're kind of surprised that I have 4 kids and a 5-year-old grandson, and all of my kids except for one are grown and out of the house. So, and most people are pretty surprised by that. But when you're a high school dad, that's kind of one of the things that happens. And my whole existence was, my kids. It's the reason I joined the service, and and just was provided for my kids. And really, that's when my oldest 3, when they kind of all are adults and off on their own, it wasn't completely an empty nest thing, because we still have my 15-year-old daughter, soon to be 16 here, but it's kind of like, well, what do I do now with my time? Because I was always coach, I was always dad, I was always, daddy Uber, running everybody around and doing whatever. And all of a sudden I was like, well, I don't know. And I couldn't really tell you why I said it, but I was over at my mom and dad's house, and I told my dad, I said, I think I want to learn how to play harmonica. He runs upstairs, he comes back downstairs, and he hands me a harmonica. He says, I'll give you my Uncle Jim's old harmonica if you promise never give it away. I'm sure. I blew on that thing for about 3 days, and it dawned on me, my mom and dad smoked like chimneys, and harmonicas have wooden combs, and my Uncle Jim chews tobacco. I thought I smoked a carton of cigarettes. It was like the nastiest thing ever.
Oh my God, that's hilarious and disgusting.
Right?
Oh.
So I ended up buying a set, and went to a jam and got up and played and got a lot of encouragement. And a month later, I was in the Sean Booker band, and that year we actually won the Charleston, West Virginia Blues Challenge, and competed down in the International Blues Challenge in Memphis, Tennessee in 2012. We took 9th overall, and we actually won the King of Bill Street competition down there that year. And that's just kind of how it all started. And then I was like, do you sing? I don't know. Let's find out. And that's just kind of how I've been rolling with everything. I was like, well, I should learn how to play guitar. I should learn how to play bass. And that's just what I've been doing.
Wow. I love that. So this is a newish thing, considering that
Absolutely.
you've got this career, you've got this, great family that you've had for decades now, a couple decades, and you've been dad, and then you just had a little bit of space, and a little voice you had enough space that this little voice, I should learn the harmonica, came in, and you listened to it. That's pretty cool. I love that. And I love your dedication to your kids, and you're like, here's what's going on. And this is what I'm making my life about. And it's just like no resistance from you. It's a really cool space to be in. And I feel like that just listening to your own voices and just having that integrity. And so I get like very good guy vibes from you. It's just really, really great. So when you think about like your music career, what's the biggest struggle that you're looking at right now in terms of moving forward or getting to a place where if there is a struggle?
Well, honestly, the biggest struggle is how it all come together organically. Me just playing music. I was not attempting to put together a band in the first place, and everything just kind of came together organically. And all of a sudden, like I was having a really, really hard time accepting the fact that people like me and that they like the band, they like the music. Like, I don't quite understand, why they think it's good, was the biggest thing that I struggled with for the longest time, and still do a little bit, to be honest, because I'm just honestly just 100% trying to be me. And I don't have like this complex of like, I'm the front man of the band. I don't want to be the front man of the band. Like, that's like, I don't, hey, look at me, I'm playing guitar, let me go.
So you get that the fact that you don't have that ego, that you are just being you, is actually the thing that people are attracted to, which is funny because you're kind of confused why people are so attracted to you and the music that you're doing. And why would they like me? It's because you are being just that, me. And the space that you provide people is that they have the opportunity to also just be them too. So they get something by being around someone who's just being authentically them and letting these things happen organically. And like you're seeing growth, and your music and your band is growing faster than you're mentally keeping up with. Right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's to answer your question, that's the biggest problem that I've struggled with, and still just trying to get in front of everything. You've pointed out so much to me, and been a huge help in with the MX4 course, and find a little bit of clarity in general of like what I should do, because the reason I wanted to do the course in the first place is I started thinking, um, what could I do, if I actually knew the direction I was trying to steer, if I
mm,
knew where I wanted to go and where I wanted to be, what could I actually, do? There, everywhere that we play, I'm always asked to come back. Everybody, always wants to have us back. So then when I started to try and get a little bit more serious about it, and like I've gone and played at Buddy Guys, Legends, and done a lot of other cool things with other groups as just a side man. And I don't want to say this about anybody else that I've played with, but usually get a better response from, our band and our performance than I have with other people as a sideman. But I've ran into a problem with, well, how in the world are these guys like able to book this gig and, I'm not getting anything back? And I know it's got to be something, that I'm not doing. And actually our conversation earlier today, that's kind of, I realized with our logo and what I was doing and kind of branding and marketing ourselves, I wasn't. I'm not showing the world, I suppose, or whoever I want to book us our live performance. I'm not showing them this authentic side of me of like what people seemingly like, and
yeah.
maybe it's because I never really accepted the fact that there's a reason they like me.
Yeah, which is awesome. And just to fill people in, so Brian had his logo all over Spotify. Everything was the logo of the band. So there are no pictures of him. There's nothing personal about the band. It was it was cool in a way, and it's definitely something that's been done and has worked for some bands. But the thing that is working for you, it sounds like, is the authentic you being you. So it feels almost inauthentic to not have you on the digital side of things. So that was a conversation that we had that I feel like might make a difference in terms of Spotify and the online sales. Because right now the live shows, you're getting asked back, you're getting a lot of results, and now there's still stuff to do, right? If you don't get results, there's stuff to do. If you do get results, there's stuff to do, right? So
Sure.
you're getting results. So now it's follow up. Now it's scheduling. Now it's increasing those venues. Now it's using those connections. Say, hey, do you have someone else I can open for at a bigger venue? Like now there's room for growth based on the great stuff you've set up for yourself live. And I think that's great that you recognize today, like, oh, maybe there's a way to bring that authenticity, that organicness, to the web and your web presence and all the stuff that you're taking on there, because
Sure.
that's a whole other beast. So that's really awesome. And I'm glad that you're catching up with your successes.
Yeah, it's
That's a
been an interesting ride, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a great, if you're say your biggest problem is that you're doing well and you can't wrap your head around it, like that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, it
So
really, yeah, it really is, I suppose. And I often, I mean, I'll come down to this room and just kind of sit around and I play, and I look up. Was it 2015 when we actually released our CD, and that CD won the Ohio Music Awards, Best Blues CD released out of Ohio in 2015. And then that year we won the Columbus Blues Challenge with my band, and went down in 2016 and competed in Memphis in the International Blues Challenge as well. And that was like a complete like circle. That was like a really so real moment for me.
mm,
Um, when I mentioned I went down there with Sean Booker, it was like, so that whole first year, I just randomly picked up a harmonica. A month later, I'm in a band. 3 months later, I'm winning this competition in West Virginia. 9 months later, we're down in Memphis and I'm playing on Bill Street. It's just like the coolest thing. And, playing in all these clubs in this competition. There was a couple moments where just randomly, I just pull a harmonica out on a corner and start playing, and people were around me listening. And I just wasn't afraid to be myself. And it was just really cool to be in that moment. But when we lost the competition, when we didn't make it to the next round, Davina, from Davina and the Vagabonds, Davina came up to me, and complete stranger, she came up to me and said, "You were absolutely, amazing. Don't let this discourage you." Tells me her story. And I wasn't like, I had already won. Like I wasn't like, there was no, sad face here at all. I was like extremely excited to just be in the moment of everything.
Yeah.
But it was when she come up and she spoke to me and she said something. It was at that moment that I clearly just, told myself, I'm going to come back down here and compete, in this competition one time with my own band and do this. And that's really when I started pursuing music. But it was really all about the music at that point. You know what I mean? I didn't have direction. It was just all about the music. I started writing down all my lyrics and, writing songs and learning other instruments and just kind of doing it all.
Amazing. So we're going to play a song of yours at the end of this podcast. Tell us about that song.
Find it. Yes, I have to find it. It's called Good Music. And it's one of the first songs that I wrote for the CD. And the reason I chose this particular song out of the 15 songs that are on there, it's called Good Music. And everybody that I've met so far through MX4 or on the Key to Success website, everybody's always kind of, at the same point of, what genre do we fit in? Because we're all influenced by so many different styles of music, and we like so many different things. And that's what the song Good Music is about.
Cool.
All the different styles of music that I actually like, and, kind of the influences. And definitely a blues band, 100% a blues band. I'm all about blues. Everything that I do is blues based. But man, that's a mighty, mighty, mighty big umbrella.
Yeah.
And I like to take full advantage of it.
That's awesome.
So,
are you going to play some harmonica for us?
Well, I suppose I could. If you want me to.
Deuce and a quarter. Deuce, the letter N, a quarter.com is where you can hear all this music. I would be so psyched if you danced us out of this podcast with a harmonica solo.
All right.
What a way to end a podcast. Yeah. Brian Peters, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
I grew up listening to country and rhythm and blues. I'm always gonna dance when I hear blue suede shoes. I like hip hop and rock and roll and the jazz that makes me wanna stroll. And I can't forget the gospel that helps to heal my soul.
Please don't forget to rate, like, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and YouTube if you like this podcast. Musicians like you keep me inspired and motivated, and for doing that, I'm offering you access to my 7-day challenge, which takes only a half an hour a day and helps you develop a complete set of positive habits for how you work at your career, from goal setting to finances to branding. Get access at inthekey.co/7-day challenge. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time on Key Conversations. The theme song on this podcast was provided by yours truly. If you're interested to find out more about my composing and songwriting projects, go to inthekey.co/Cheryl. If you're a musician looking to get some real results for your music career, then head to inthekey.co/results, where I've created a bunch of different kinds of resources just for you. Key Conversations is sponsored in part by Bandzoogle. They make it easy to build a beautiful website for your music. Their step-by-step system gets you online in minutes, and you can choose from hundreds of mobile-friendly themes and customize them with their point-and-click editor. All of the features you can imagine for a possible website are built in. So, because you're a Key Conversations podcast listener, you get a special month free trial plus 15% off if you do decide to sign up, just for you. Go to inthekey.co/make-a-site to get the offer.